Waddle then gobbled for the gaggle and then made way for the President of the United States.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling.
I like when he takes us inside his relationship. Darling, why do you throw up when I open my robe? What are you doing, darling?
Kim Jong-un has state stenographers who follow him everywhere and scribble his genius ideas into their notebooks and applaud. Well, Republicans, that's you now. Republican Congressman Addison McDowell wants to name Dulles Airport after Trump. It'll be like other airports, except the international terminal only has departure.
No one walked in expecting history today, but history kicked the door down anyway. Jimmy Kimmel and Bill Maher teamed up, fused their sarcasm superpowers, and unleashed a tidal wave of jokes on Trump strong enough to light up Vegas twice. Even the cameraman broke character and started laughing. It wasn't just brutal. It wasn't just chaotic. It was a masterpiece of comedic destruction. But there was one moment, one glorious, catastrophic moment that the internet refuses to stop replaying. And you're about to find out exactly why. Buckle up. We're diving in right now.
It's not like Trump doesn't care about people. I mean, he has a lot of empathy. He's feeling especially bad right now for the family of the newly decrowned Jeffrey Epstein pal, the now former...
Jimmy Kimmel doesn't just enter the chaos, he detonates into it. Like a lightning bolt tearing through a carnival tent stitched together with overinflated confidence and half-finished decisions, the whole atmosphere rattles with the kind of over-the-top tension you normally hear in the trailer of a doomsday blockbuster. And there's Trump, planted right in the center of the storm he built himself, clutching his bravado like an umbrella full of holes, useless, shaky, and seconds away from flipping inside out.
And the governor is a big fat slob.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I mean, seriously, though. He says a lot of crazy stuff. In that same press conference, he said there have been no murders in Washington, D.C. in the last 6 months because of him. There have been 62 murders in Washington, which already indicates a vivid imagination. But does he really look at himself in the mirror and go, I am thin? I am so thin, I can comment.
Bill Maher dives in with the swagger of a man who's just cracked open a treasure chest stuffed with every presidential blunder ever recorded. Trump tries to strike a grand, heroic pose, but the world around him collapses like a cookie that forgot it was supposed to stay firm. Bill's delivery turns the whole moment into a chaotic cinematic. Seen one of those wild action sequences where the hero keeps insisting everything is fine, while the entire background is actively on fire.
There's also a bill in Congress to add Trump to Mount Rushmore because, like Washington, he's a patriot. Like Teddy Roosevelt, he's a renegade. And like Abraham Lincoln, he's not really helping the theater scene in Washington. Yeah, the Kennedy Center is not something I really care a lot about, but I do care that an American president doesn't see anything wrong with him personally taking it over, or that his communications director, Stephen Chung, said it was justified because Trump, quote,
Jimmy comes back with the intensity of a spotlight that refuses to blink. Illuminating every crack Trump desperately tries to smooth over. The president's expressions flip like theater masks being swapped too fast, each new face revealing even more confusion than the last dot. Jimmy amplifies the chaos until it practically glitters with absurdity, transforming the entire scene into a full-blown stage production where every gesture feels like a line from a script no one bothered to rehearse.
And then the president pardoned the birds as only he can.
Looks like a rather violent bird. Hard to play. Anyway, are you ready? Beautiful. That's nice. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
There you go. All right. In 6 months, when they're indicted for crypto fraud,
Bill steps forward like a tour guide leading everyone through a grand gallery of presidential blunders, each one painted in loud, unmistakable strokes of chaos. Trump tries to hold on to a regal presence, but the moment betrays him. The slight tremble becomes louder than anything he meant to project. Bill spins it into Entertainment so rich it feels like a full-blown opera of misfires and miscalculations. Performed entirely in dramatic slow motion, the tension crackles then ignites, transforming into pure comedic electricity.
Republicans dance like Trump now. They name weapons systems after him. They've even dressed like him with the trademark suit and tie. Available exclusively at Banana Republic. Yeah, all these super macho guys eating the ass of another man. Some even talk like him now with the crazy over.
Jimmy swings the spotlight onto Trump's latest attempt at looking in control of performance, wobbling like a half-assembled statue buckling under its own oversized ambition. The dramatic irony is thick enough to lift with both hands. Jimmy slices through the facade with humor so sharp it cuts through pretension like a hot knife skating through decorative icing. Under that relentless glow, Trump's grandstanding starts to melt. Then Bill swoops back in with a flourish, zeroing in on the way Trump carries himself as if he's directing a movie no one else agreed to be in. Every movement feels choreographed by someone who forgot to read the script or maybe never had one to begin with. Bill turns the awkwardness into pure comedic gold, painting Trump as the star of a spectacle powered by misplaced confidence and cinematic overreach. The comedic rhythm starts to rumble. Jimmy steps forward again, weaving imagery of Trump's stage presence like a theatrical reenactment unfolding in slow, exaggerated gestures. Every motion begs for applause that stubbornly refuses to arrive. Jimmy revels in the unraveling, transforming the moment into a full symphony of mistimed cues and comedic misfires that echo louder with each passing beat. The scenes merge, swirl and collide, forming a rich, chaotic storm of irony that hangs beautifully in the air.
Art.
So, Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. I had a little bit of a Pritzker joke. I was going to talk about Pritzker and size, but when I talk about Pritzker, I get angry because he's not letting us do the job. So I'm not going to tell my Pritzker joke. They have a very cute little joke, you know. Some speechwriter wrote some joke about his weight, but I would never want to talk about his weight. I don't talk about people being fat. I refuse to talk about the fact that he's a fat slob. I don't mention it.
I don't know if that's sarcasm or short-term memory loss. Either way, he really captured.
Bill keeps the flames roaring, describing Trump navigating his own chaos with the determination of a man charging through a fog machine without the faintest clue where the exit is. It's bold, dramatic, and spectacularly misguided. Bill cranks the chaos up until it feels like a full-blown spectacle begging for its own theme music. The air hums with comedic electricity. Jimmy steps in with the precision of a director, pointing out every beat Trump thinks he's hitting. The performance grows bigger, louder, more elaborate, and every step widens the cracks running through it. Jimmy turns each detail into a burst of comedic fireworks shooting off in every direction, completely ignoring the idea of a pattern. The absurdity becomes hypnotic. Then Bill returns with the energy of someone exposing a dramatic plot twist that was meant to be serious but collapses into unintentional hilarity. Trump's attempts at gravitas wobble like a chandelier dangling by a single thread. Bill heightens the tension, letting the dramatic irony drip through the moment like syrup over a melting dessert. By now, the entire scene has transformed into a full buffet of comedy, overflowing, chaotic, and impossible to look away from.
Waddle then gobbled for the gaggle and then made way for the President of the United States.
The turkeys being pardoned today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what.
Jimmy frames Trump's latest attempt at showmanship. Like a high-stakes performance inside a hall of mirrors, every reflection just a bit off, a bit warped, a bit more dramatic than anyone intended. He stretches the humor until it wraps around the moment like a ribbon pulled too tight, squeezing out every drop of absurdity. Trump's determination only amplifies the comedy. Bill pushes the chaos further, portraying Trump's dramatic choices as puzzle pieces that never quite fit, no matter how forcefully they're shoved into place. Jimmy dives back in, spotlighting Trump's overflowing theatrics like a cup filled way past its brim. spilling drama across the entire scene. It soaks everything in rich, exaggerated flair. Jimmy sharpens the spectacle into a full carnival ride, wild, lurching, ambitious, and hilariously unstable. Then Bill sweeps in with fresh fire, capturing Trump's attempts at grandeur as if they're scenes from an overacted period drama missing its lead costume. The gap between what Trump intends and what actually happens becomes the beating heart of the roast. Bill widens the moment until it swells, with comedic resonance layered and impossible to ignore.
Prince Andrew in the UK has had his royal titles stripped away because of the Epstein scandal. I know you're close to the royal family there. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel very badly. I mean, it's a terrible thing that's happened to the family. That's been a tragic situation. And it's too bad. I mean, I feel badly for the family.
That family he feels bad for. The ones losing their food stamps, they're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. This is like Bill Cosby feeling bad for art.
Bill grabs the torch and cranks the chaos higher, describing Trump's dramatic gestures as if they were ripped straight from a script, written during a caffeine-fueled all-night. The pacing lurches forward, then breaks without warning, turning the moment into a roller coaster built from wildly unpredictable emotional swings. Bill sharpens every twist with pinpoint humor. Jimmy keeps the energy blazing, dissecting Trump's shifting expressions, the kind that flicker with the jittery rhythm of someone trying to stay composed while juggling flaming torches. The comedy practically drips off each exaggerated detail as Jimmy molds the chaos into something irresistibly entertaining. Bill steps back in, lifting Trump's attempts at authority into the realm of theatrical overplay, something fit for a stage lined with velvet curtains and glittering chandeliers. The dramatic pose clashing against the shaky foundation beneath becomes pure comedic treasure, and Bill doesn't let it rest. He presses harder. Jimmy turns the roast up another notch by pointing out Trump's uncanny ability to transform even the calmest moment into a swirling storm of unpredictable theatrics. The whole scene swells like a balloon stretched beyond its limits. Jimmy lets it inflate bigger and bigger until it trembles on the verge of bursting under the sheer pressure of comedy.
Gretchen Whitmer looked like a toddler playing peekaboo in the Oval Office as she's afraid of the Liz Bratts of the world and the 12 social justice warriors on the internet and what they might tweet to their 7 followers. Alyssa Slotkin calls her party weak and woke. She's right. People vote on instinct. They can smell fear a swing state away, and they'd rather have strong and wrong. Having sex with Stormy Daniels was wrong. But Trump didn't hide.
Jimmy swings the spotlight onto the swirling chaos around. Trump, a glitter storm caught in a wind tunnel. It sparkles, it scatters, and it refuses to settle. Jimmy twists the chaos into a full-blown comedic cyclone. Bill steps in, turning Trump's decision-making into a dramatic journey down a hallway lined with funhouse lights and mismatched cues. Every step echoes with exaggerated tension, and Bill squeezes the moment until it explodes into pure comedy. Jimmy jumps back in, portraying Trump's shifting confidence as a stage prop tipping over again and again despite best efforts. Each wobble ramps up the comedic potential, which Jimmy stretches into a brilliantly exaggerated critique. Bill amplifies the energy, likening Trump's theatrics to an orchestra that insists on playing louder whenever it loses rhythm, a symphony of misplaced confidence and runaway gestures. He loads the scene with comedic intensity. Jimmy keeps pushing, spinning Trump's movements into a whirlwind of dramatic flourishes borrowed from every genre at once. The inconsistency becomes its own punchline, and Jimmy drags it into sharp, full focus, turning the spectacle into a mesmerizing, chaotic, and irresistible roast.net.
Prince Andrew lost his royal status. He's been demoted to, I think he's the Archduke of Frimplepants now or something. Trump's claimed that he doesn't know Prince Andrew, and yet there are dozens of photos of them together. Here's just one of the many. I don't know if, what happened to Andrew in that photograph, but here's one of then Prince Andrew walking away from Trump. And look who else is in the picture, peeking in from the corner. You got convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, who Trump wishes well and just had moved to a much more comfortable prison. And then lurking in the background, none other than Trump's BF.
Bill takes the chaos higher, turning Trump's missteps into a series of overlapping, competing moments, a dramatic spectacle swelling like a storm cloud on the verge of bursting. Each beat is punctuated with Bill's razor-sharp humor. Jimmy circles back, painting Trump as a man trying to control a landscape built entirely on shifting sand. The wobble grows, the posture tightens, and the comedy rises effortlessly. Jimmy shapes the chaos into something almost operatic in its scope. Bill leaps in with a flourish, spinning Trump's misadventures into a spiraling drama. Like a forgotten play being performed for the first time, comedic tension stretches with every beat, layering new absurdities. Jimmy heightens the imagery, depicting Trump's reactions as a flickering spotlight during a high-budget performance, every unpredictable blink revealing yet another piece of exaggerated drama. He molds it into a storm of humor, relentless and dazzling. Bill delivers a final wave of cutting commentary, portraying Trump's week as a full-blown drone.
According to the Washington Post, since Trump installed himself as chairman of the board back in February, ticket sales at the Kennedy Center have taken a nosedive. So far, the Kennedy Center has only sold 57% of their tickets, which is down from 93% at this time last year. Everything he touches dies. Good news, Malone. The lack of ticket sales hasn't discouraged the tantrum of the opera one bit. He took a break from posting photos of the new Lincoln toilet to brag about his new Trumpified Kennedy Center. He wrote, "It is really looking good. The exterior columns, which were in serious danger of corrosion if something weren't done, are completed and look magnificent."
Jimmy rides the swelling wave of chaos, casting Trump's stance as something precariously wedged between attempted grandeur and accidental slapstick. Each gesture lands with the graceless finality of a door slamming in an empty hallway. Jimmy stretches the moment into a slow-motion unraveling, a glimmering, exaggerated display that pulses with wild, unpredictable rhythm. Every second breathes life into the absurdity, as if the room itself conspires to turn the spectacle into a living, breathing comedy. Bill steps in, sculpting the unfolding chaos into a vivid storyline. He portrays Trump as a man trapped between two performances he never rehearsed for, one dramatic, deliberate, and self-important, the other unintentional, ludicrous, and hilariously off. The imbalance swirls around him like a curtain caught in a hurricane, whipping his attempts at authority into new shapes with every gust. Bill hones the scene into a masterpiece of exaggerated tension, humming with comedic electricity that charges the air and keeps the audience teetering on the edge of disbelief and laughter. Jimmy returns with precision, highlighting Trump's presence as a monumental sculpture carved from unstable ambition and half-formed plans. Every exaggerated gesture, every forced expression creates cracks in the imaginary edifice. The weight of his theatrics bends and strains the form until every flaw is magnified, irresistible in its comedic brilliance. Jimmy draws out each wobble, each tremor, until the performance itself becomes a vivid study of chaos made tangible. Bill elevates the narrative, turning missteps into dramatic punctuation. Trump's attempts at control are reframed as spiraling gestures that tumble into faltering bravado, each movement striking a note of sparkling irony. The scene stretches wider, more layered, as Bill crafts a crescendo of comedic tension where nothing is safe from exaggeration. Together, Jimmy and Bill choreograph the chaos into a grand finale. The atmosphere thickens, buzzing with anticipation, every gesture echoing like a drumbeat in a symphony of absurdity. Trump's world teeters, his authority wobbling with each misplaced attempt at poise, and the air vibrates with comedic momentum. Bill pushes the moment to its peak, a cliffhanger of humor and spectacle, leaving the stage charged, alive, and poised for the next shockwave of outrageous display. By the end, the performance is less a scene and more a living cyclone of theatrical collapse, vivid, exaggerated, and utterly irresistible. A towering monument to chaos, comedy, and the art of the unexpected.